guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Today is August 21st. Bubba Chandler is getting the call to pitch out of the pen. I have thoughts. And of course, with every call-up, there's a corresponding move. I have thoughts about that too. Good morning, guys.
It is a good morning there, little man.
Good afternoon or evening to whenever you're listening to this. It's Thursday. Pirates have a day off today, but they've already made the announcement that Bubba Chandler is making his way to Pittsburgh for Friday. I'll start off by saying sorry for missing yesterday. I'm not feeling well again. I don't want to skip another full week right now. Feeling pretty good at this moment. We're getting, basically, my time is expiring, recording this at night. And, I'm getting tired. But I think I was in bed by 9 o'clock last night. It was wild. I watched the end of the game from my phone in bed because I was just wiped out. So anyway, we're going to push through. We need to talk about Bubba Chandler. And he's getting called up. The news broke yesterday afternoon when he was, that he was being called up to pitch as a long reliever or bulk reliever or piggyback or whatever you want to call it. Do we have a distinction between all those names? Like, I would think that piggyback would be more, I am tied to this guy. You're going to come in exactly when this guy comes out. As like, we are planning these two guys together. A bulk reliever would be, it doesn't matter who comes out early. My goal is to, at some point this week, cover 3-4 innings, right? It's something like that in a game. You know what I mean? And then I think the long reliever, which is more traditional, would be like, crap, Mitch Keller needs to come out in the second. I need to go out there as a guy to come in and get out of a bad situation or something and do long. I don't know. I guess the bulk and the long reliever, I just said the same exact thing. Except I would think that the difference between the piggyback is it doesn't come after. Well, I guess it doesn't have to. Long reliever probably covers all of it, right? I don't even know why this matters. I get hung up on semantics sometimes. And I think about these words and what they mean, and it's probably silly. I had a thought that I was going to go down and try to separate the two, but I think it doesn't matter. Let's talk about Bubba Chandler. Personally, I love this. I think he'll get starts this year. I don't think that this is necessarily a thing where they're saying like he's not going to start at all. This isn't a bullpen thing. This was clearly a long reliever, bulk reliever type statement from what I heard anyway. Alex Stumpf even said as much on his report on MLB.com that he'll probably get starts this year. So I think that it's just the idea that they've got a few guys kind of in this situation. They've got guys that are being limited right now. In Burrows, who's a Tommy John guy, Ashcraft, who's had some injuries, Majinski, who has been a reliever for the past few years, and Oviedo coming fresh off of Tommy John in his first couple appearances here. So, like, these are guys they're going to want to be careful with. These are guys they're going to, try to space out. And we can say like, why? That's not how this has been done, right? But it's pitchers haven't pitched like this either, right? And so like, there are a lot of different ways right now that teams and the Pirates and everything are trying to manage this situation to try and keep their guys healthy. Nobody knows if it's working yet or not. It really hasn't been that long, but at least they're trying. It's better than, I think we were critical when Oviedo went down. We were critical of the fact that they just let him go to pitch almost 180 innings in that year when he hadn't really done that. And so I think that if you're going to be critical about that, then we can't be critical about, I don't want to say can't be, because we can be critical about whatever we want to, right? You can say what you want, but I'm just saying if you were going to be fair, I would say you're probably going to be like critical of one and not the other. I don't know. Guys haven't pitched like this before with the max effort and the total disregard for pacing yourself and so on and so forth. And so long as this is going to be a thing, so are injuries. And so long as injuries are going to be a thing, so are teams going to try to be protective, or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, I'm not sure that I would have went Bubba before Barco. But Barco pitched 3 innings, 52 pitches on Tuesday, and he was relatively good in that one. So it appears they're already starting to limit him, which means he's probably next to come up, I would assume. But when he does, it's going to probably be the same sort of thing. You're not going to get full 6-inning, 100-pitch starts from this. Short starts, bulk relief, this sort of thing. It's kind of an old school way of onboarding guys, I think. I feel like I don't remember the detail, when you're a kid, but looking back, you kind of do feel like there were more guys that was like, come up and pitch out of the bullpen. If you're good enough, you'll work your way into the starting rotation. But it is a way to get good pitchers on the roster. And just do it. Bubba thinks he's ready. He said as much as he thinks he's ready, but he's really struggled in his last 10 outings or so. And so, you look at those numbers and it might question, like, man, when he was dominant early in the season, we could have called him up. I think hindsight's 2020. We're glad he didn't. We're glad they didn't, rather. If you look at the numbers. Now, there's a possibility that there's some mental aspect to this where he was upset because he wasn't being called out. And that could be it. And maybe that's all this is. But those numbers are not what you want to see coming into the rotation out of the gate. Those are not the kind of numbers you want to see from a guy who's just making his way onto the team at this point. I think the guys up here like Burrows and Ashcraft have done more to earn that spot in the rotation right now. Even Majinski, really, and Oviedo's just coming back from surgery and looked great in his second outing yesterday. And so, I feel like we don't want to just. It's not important to just push ahead, right? I imagine Ashcraft starts Friday. Bubba comes in after 4 or 5 innings, goes 3 of his own. If all goes well, and this will give the bullpen an inning or 2, if all goes well. I could even see him finishing the game. I don't know, right? Imagine coming off a day off, being able to say, we had 2 guys pitch the entire game, and now our bullpen has a couple days off and we're rested for the weekend. That'd be great. I'm not sure who's listed. Do we know who's listed for Saturday? I know we can talk about that tomorrow, but I was just curious to see if they already had it listed. I know they have Burrows listed there, and I think Skeens is going Sunday. So, if you could have another, like if you could go 2 people or 2 guys and then go into Saturday with maybe like a Burrows Majinski, then you could even save the bullpen for another day if you only have to use, a guy on Sunday. And then that once they go Friday, I mean, you're talking about they don't have another day off in August. So it's not until Labor Day. It's not till Labor Day till this team gets another day off. So they're going to have to figure some stuff out to kind of look at this bullpen and what they need to do. You can imagine there are, we just talked, you're talking about 5 guys and they got to cover 3 games. But then, they're going to be careful how they handle this. If Barco comes up, it's going to be more of the same thing. And then you're even getting smaller on the bullpen side of things. Skeens is going to be somewhat limited the rest of the way too. Likely still be allowed to get to that 200 inning mark, but it's going to be managed. Keller's going to have to pitch better, go deeper into games, or else you're using bullpen arms on that day as well. You've still got Heaney there if he's capable of bulk innings. More on him later. But he can't continue, Keller, can't continue to put this trend of exiting early when you're watching bullpen innings the way they're going to have to. But they're also probably going to have to get Skeens and Keller away from each other. I don't know how you make that happen, especially at this point in the season when you're about ready to hit how many straight games is that? It looks like 9 straight games. Is that right? That can't be right. It's a 3-game series. 3-game series, so you've got 10 straight games. I spaced out a little bit there. That's those pills. I just caught myself doing it. Anyway, that's 10 straight games. And then after that, I think you get a day off and then you go, you got a couple Mondays in a row off. So then they'll start to be able to space it out a little bit more. But I don't know, man. You're going to have to figure something out. Maybe give Keller an extra day off. And instead of pitching him on Monday, throw him on Tuesday and get somebody else on that start, because you'll have the full days off for Oviedo. And so if you can start somebody else on next Monday against the Cardinals, maybe let Oviedo pitch short innings there, but it's a full 4 days off after his start. Plus this was a day game. So maybe throw Oviedo and then get Keller that extra day off, which he already has because of the day off, but keep going with it. I don't know. You're going to have to try to figure something out there. You got to try to balance that pen. So let's move on to the corresponding move for this that has already been made. And it's Chase Sugar was optioned to AAA after the game yesterday. Adding Chandler will put the 40-man roster at 39 now. So there's still room to add another one without any moves. The fact that you didn't clear any spot on the 40-man makes sense because they have spots available. Now, they have Moretta, Sugar, Daryl Hicks, Jack Little, Cam Sanders, and Evan Sisk, who was just sent down for Oviedo's spot, all in Indy now. Now, they won't be able to save all those arms. They'll have to keep pitching, but at some point, Holderman, Nicholas, Matson, and Johan Ramirez they're going to be cooked. They're going to be overused, and they're going to have to call guys back up, but they've got guys to call back up. When you option someone, they're not eligible to be recalled for 15 days. Unless there's an injury and they're replacing an injured player, but some guys are already beyond that on that list. So, they'll need to start balancing or whatever, but let's just say it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But it's Chase Sugar for now. And I would have thought that this decision would have been between Holderman and Andrew Heaney. Both remain on this roster right now. I don't think that we really have the time to get into Colin Holderman tonight. I do want to go to bed, and I don't want to keep you guys all day, but that time will come if he continues to keep putting up numbers the way he is and keep pitching the way he is. But listen, Andrew Heaney's the next guy I would have thought would be the guy. He would have been my 1-for-1 pick at this moment. But I know that we're talking about bonus stuff again. And I don't think that we need to sit here and cry about the Andrew Heaney bonus stuff, guys. They don't care. They're not looking at it. When we compare it to the Rowdy situation and whatever else, what's the desired approach you want? What do you want them to do? If they give Heaney a bonus or two, are you just going to be mad about why didn't they give that to Rowdy? Do we just want to be mad all the time? Is that the goal here? Andrew Heaney has already erased all the good that he did early in the season. But it's literally not about the bonus marks at all, right? They believe they need Heaney to cover innings right now. I say they believe because it's their opinion, and it doesn't have to be ours. But don't give me some line about how the move to the bullpen was all about these bonuses. That's bogus. And we all know it's bogus. It was about him not being effective anymore. It was about him not being a part of this team beyond this season and wanting to see guys who've earned the opportunity to start in some games. That's what it's about. It has nothing to do with they don't care. They don't care. It's about baseball. Sure, listen, if you just want something to be big mad about, or just want to point out something because you don't like Ben Cherington, then it makes sense to try and make this out to be something that it's not. That would help your narrative, but it's not. Bonus aside, the guy shouldn't be starting games for the Pirates right now. And with Bubba coming on Friday, and Ashcraft, Burrows, Oviedo, Majinski, all on this roster, the opportunities for Heaney are wearing thin, and they should not exist in the starting rotation. And we're not even talking about, like, Barco has earned more at this point, and he hasn't even made his debut. He's not even on the 40-man. It should have nothing to do with anything other than the fact that he can't get outs. That's it. I think I'm concerned he can't even be a bulk guy right now because he can't pitch effectively enough to stay in the game long enough to cover innings. But that's going to be their hope and their belief that he's going to be able to do bulk. They're overdue to let him go. I don't care, and I don't want to hear about some bonus that he missed. If he was good, he would have earned it, and he would have gotten it. They don't have to be marked as performance bonuses in order to be a performance bonus. We understand that, right? It's innings incentives, but you have to be good. You know, did this team make a mistake with Rowdy Tellez last year? I'm not sure. If they did, the mistake may have been holding on to him too long and allowing him to get close to that incentive. Not letting him go too soon. Now, if it was me when he did get to that point, I probably would have said, we're still cutting ties because that makes sense for baseball. And I said this last year at the time, but here's your bonus anyway that you didn't get. We're going to give it to you. We're going to pay it out anyway. It was only $200,000. We'll go ahead and pay it out. That would have been my approach. But they don't have to do that. And they don't have to pay attention to those. If he was a better player for more than just a 2-month span, then he would have earned it. You have to earn those types of things. They are actually performance bonuses without being marked as it. I just don't think it's important to care about these incentives. He got an opportunity to reach the first incentive the other day, and he only got 2 outs and had to be removed from the game because he was giving up runs. So here he sits at 119.2 innings pitched on the season. 1 out away from a $50,000 bonus. 10 1/3 innings pitched away from another $100,000 on top of that. And every 10 innings pitched after that, up to 170, is another $150,000 bonus. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The only reason, this is speculation, not fact, the only reason Chase Sugar was optioned to AAA was because of this incentive and the fact that he failed to get one more out. Had he pitched an inning that day, I think he'd be gone. I think they can't allow him to be 1 out away from a bonus and cut ties. I literally think because of the Rowdy stuff, I think that they can't let him sit at 119.2 and let him go, so they had to send somebody else down. As a result, I bet he gets to 130. And I bet they let him go after he gets to 130. He'll get his first 150 with those two combined, the 120 and the 130 of 50 and 100, and then they'll let him go. But no matter where he is when they let him go, someone on Twitter or Facebook is going to act like the Pirates ripped him off and cut him right before another incentive bonus. my friends, he has a 5.04 ERA. And we can split it in half, All-Star game and pre-All-Star. He had a 4.59 pre-All-Star and a 7.06 ERA post-All-Star. He hasn't been an effective pitcher since April. Let him go today or let him go after 130 innings pitch. Both of those situations will be too late, unfortunately. That's just the truth of the matter. Not too early. Speaking of too late and too early, it is on that note that it is time for me to go to bed. I got to keep getting better. Bucks have a day off today, and if I can get better, I'm going to try to make it to the game Friday to see a Bubba Chandler debut appearance, which is on
Friday.
Have a great day. Tell someone about this show today. I would really appreciate it. We need more subs on YouTube. So send them that way. Have them sub. Take the phone away from the people around you and just go sub, even if they don't watch YouTube. Just get those numbers up just for the sake of getting them up. Have a great day, guys. Let's go, Bucks.
Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Subscribing to your platform of choice is the best way to be notified for new episodes. And now, new episodes every weekday. Remember, live shows with my dad and Uncle Jake are Sundays at 9 p.m. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and join them in the live chat every Sunday. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.